Did you? Where? There's something inside the interstellar object 3IA. ATLIA. And it's moving. The latest images from the James Webb Space Telescope show a structure within this object that was on there before. Or maybe it was always there, but we just couldn't see it until now. Either way, what we're looking at has turned this entire situation from strange to absolutely terrifying. Because this structure, this inside 3IA, Atlas, it's not static. It's not just sitting there. It's rotating independently from the outer shell. It has its own spin, its own orientation. It's like there's something inside this object that's completely separate from the rest of it. Like we're looking at a machine with moving parts. Today, I'm going to walk you through these new images, step by step. I'm going to show you exactly what researchers are seeing and why. It's causing such a massive shift in how we think about interstellar objects. I have to warn you, some of the theories being discussed right now are going to sound insane. But when the data keeps pointing in the same direction, when every new observation makes the conventional explanations less and less likely, you have to start considering possibilities you never thought you'd have to. Let's start from the beginning. 3.1 ATLAS was discovered in October 2024. It's an interstellar object, meaning it came from outside our solar system, traveling at incredible speeds on a trajectory that will eventually take it back out into the darkness between stars. For the first few months, it just seemed unusual. It had weird brightness fluctuations. Its rotation was suspiciously regular, but these things alone weren't enough to prove anything extraordinary was happening. Then came the forward-pointing tail. That was the first major red flag. Normally, comets have tails that point away from the sun, pushed by solar wind and radiation pressure. But 3I Atlas had a tail pointing forward in its direction of travel. That shouldn't be possible with natural processes we know of that require some kind of force-pushing material ahead of the object, some kind of propulsion. Scientists scrambled to explain it. Maybe it was a jet. Maybe it was outgassing from collisions with the interstellar medium. But none of those explanations really fit the data. The tail was too organized, too directed, too persistent. It looked less like a natural phenomenon and more like exhaust from an engine. But there was still room for doubt, still room to say, okay, maybe we're just seeing something we've never seen before. Let's keep observing. And then, the James Webb Space Telescope got involved. Now, Webb is different from Hubble. Hubble sees visible light, but Webb sees infrared heat. Radiation, it can see things that are too cold or too obscured by dust for other telescopes. It can peer into places that were previously hidden. In late March 2025, Webb pointed at 3I ATLAS for a series of long exposure observations. The goal was to study its thermal properties, to see where the heat was coming from. What they found was not what anyone expected. The infrared images showed that 3I Atlas wasn't a uniform chunk of ice and rock like most comets. Instead, there were distinct layers, a relatively cool outer shell, and inside that shell, something else. Something much, much hotter. Something glowing brightly in infrared. At first, researchers thought it might be a warm core, maybe from radioactive materials, but as they analyzed the data, they realized the heat signature wasn't coming from the center of the object. It was off-center, asymmetric, and it was moving. Let me explain what I mean by moving. When you observe an object in space, you can track how features rotate with it. You watch a bright spot come into view, disappear, and then reappear as the object spins. That's normal. But the hot region inside 3I Atlas wasn't following the same rotation as the outer shell. The outer shell was spinning with a period of about 8.7 hours, but the internal heat source was rotating with a period of about 6.2 hours. It was spinning faster than the outside. Independently, think about what that means. The inside and outside of this object are not rigidly connected. There's something inside that can rotate on its own, mechanically separated from the outer layers. That's not how natural objects work. That's how machines work. That's how gyroscopes and reaction wheels on our own satellites work. The images also revealed something else. The internal structure wasn't a simple sphere. It was elongated, almost cylindrical, and there were variations in brightness along its length. suggesting it had different components. One scientist described it as looking like a tumbler inside a lock. Two separate pieces, one inside the other, each rotating at its own rate. These images leaked online before the official announcement. Within hours, they were all over social media. The official response from NASA and ESA was cautious, urging people not to jump to conclusions. But behind the scenes, the mood was very different. I've been in contact with several researchers who are part of the teams analyzing this data. Off the record, they're much more open. One told me, "I've been studying comets and asteroids for 30 years. I've never seen anything like this. This doesn't fit any natural model I can think of." Another said, "We need to be prepared for the possibility that we're not looking at a natural object. The data is the data. We can't ignore it just because it makes us uncomfortable." A senior researcher at a major observatory told me something that really stuck with me. They said, "The hardest part isn't the science. The science is actually pretty clear. The hardest part is accepting what the science is telling us. Because if we accept it, if we say out loud what we all suspect, it changes everything." So, let's look at the possibilities. Possibility 1. It's a differentiated object with a warm core. Problem is, differentiation doesn't explain the independent rotation. Friction should have synced them up. Possibility 2. A collision created this structure, like two objects stuck together. They could explain the rotation, but not the heat. A collision millions of years ago would have cooled down by now. Possibility 3. A chemical or radioactive process is generating the heat. This could explain the heat, but not the organized, cylindrical structure. Radioactive decay seeds things uniformly. Possibility 4. It's some kind of exotic physics we don't understand yet. This is always possible, but it's basically just saying we don't know. And then there's possibility 5. The one that fits all the data, but requires us to accept something truly profound. That 3i atlas is artificial. It's not a natural object. It's a machine. A probe. A spacecraft. Something built by an intelligence that isn't human. The evidence is mounting. A forward-pointing tail, suggesting propulsion, an internal heat source, and an inner structure rotating independently from its outer shell. Each piece of data, on its own, could potentially be explained away. But together, they paint a picture that is difficult to ignore. We may be on the verge of a discovery that will change not just science, but humanity's place in the cosmos forever. Thanks for watching. What do you think is going on with 3i Atlas? Let me know in the comments below. And if you want to stay updated on this incredible story, be sure to like and subscribe for more. See you next time. If what we're seeing is true, then the internal structure of this object makes perfect, startling sense. The rotating core could be a power system, some kind of generator producing energy through rotation. The cylindrical shape could be a housing for electronics, sensors, or even propulsion systems. The heat signature. Simple waste heat from whatever technology is humming away inside. And the independent rotation could be for stabilization, just like the reaction wheels on our own satellites. It all fits. It all makes sense. If you're willing to accept one incredible premise, that we are not alone. Accepting that premise means there are other civilizations out there, technologically advanced enough to build interstellar probes. And one of those probes is right here, right now, in our solar system. The implications are staggering. If this object 3.1 Atlas is artificial, who built it? Where did it come from? How long has it been traveling? Is it still functional? Or are we just seeing the ghost of a machine built millions of years ago by a civilization now extinct? And the biggest question of all, what is it doing here? Is it exploring? Observing? Or does it have a purpose we can't even begin to imagine? These questions have ignited an intense debate within the astronomical community. Some believe we should try to communicate with it, maybe by sending radio signals or even launching a spacecraft to get a closer look. Others urge caution. They argue that if this really is alien technology, we have no idea how it might react to contact. Disturbing it could trigger a defensive response we're not prepared for. Maybe the smartest thing to do is just observe from a distance. And then there are the skeptics, who think this is all being blown way out of proportion. They argue we're just seeing patterns where none exist, that there will eventually be a natural explanation that makes everyone feel silly for getting so worked up. And that's a fair point. Throughout history, every time we've found something we didn't understand, the answer turned out to be natural. Why should this be any different? Jumping to the alien hypothesis prematurely is bad science. But you know what else is bad science? Dismissing a hypothesis just because it makes you uncomfortable. The whole point of science is to follow the evidence, wherever it leads. So, where does the evidence lead? Let's look at the facts. 3-1. Atlas is an interstellar object on a high-speed trajectory, meaning it's just passing through our solar system. Its point of origin doesn't match any known star system. It has unusual, regular brightness fluctuations, suggesting it has a defined structure, not the random shape of a typical asteroid. It developed a forward-pointing tail that can't be explained by normal cometary activity, which strongly suggests active propulsion. And now, these new images show a hot core rotating independently from the outer shell, a complex internal organization that doesn't match any known natural process. When you put all this together, the artificial hypothesis starts to look less crazy and more like the most logical explanation. Not because we want it to be true, but because it fits the data. Let's just play devil's advocate for a moment. Let's say it really is an alien probe. What would that tell us about its creators? First, it tells us they are patient. This object has been traveling for thousands, maybe millions of years. They built something designed to outlast entire civilizations. Second, it tells us they're curious. You don't build an interstellar probe unless you want to explore and learn. That's a drive we can relate to, and it gives me hope. It suggests that despite any differences, we might share that fundamental need to know. Third, it tells us they are advanced. Way more advanced than us. We've sent 5 probes out of our solar system, and they are already failing after just a few decades. 3-1, Atlas may have been operating for eons. The technology required to build something that durable is beyond anything we can currently imagine. And fourth, the scary part. It would tell us that interstellar probes might be common. If one civilization built them, others probably did too. The galaxy might be teeming with these ancient machines, silently observing. The question then isn't asterisk. If asterisk, we've been visited, but how many times we've been visited without even knowing it. But what bothers me most is the silence from official channels. The people in charge are seeing the same data we are. They know how significant this is, yet publicly, they stick to vague statements and calls for more research. Why? I think they're scared, not of the object itself, but of the societal upheaval. Announcing we've found alien technology isn't just a news story. It changes everything: politics, religion, our entire worldview. Maybe they don't think we're ready, but by refusing to be transparent, they're creating a vacuum filled with speculation and conspiracy theories. They're losing public trust. The better approach is to just tell us what they're seeing. Trust that we can handle the truth. Meanwhile, 3i. Atlas continues its journey. Every day it gets farther away, and our window to study it shrinks. There's been talk of launching a mission to intercept it, but with no official acknowledgement of its potential significance, there's no political will to fund it. What if this is the most important scientific opportunity in human history, and we're letting it slip away because we're too afraid to take a chance? Future generations might look back and wonder why we didn't try harder. These latest images are again, they've shifted the conversation from a weird comet to this might actually be artificial. And if more observations support that conclusion, we'll have to accept what we're seeing. Maybe that point is now. Maybe this is the moment we seriously consider that we are looking at alien technology. If that's the case, then everything changes. It means they're out there. We're not alone. We're part of a vast, cosmic community that's both beautiful and terrifying. The core inside 3IA. LA's is still spinning, still generating heat, and we're watching, trying to figure it out. This might be our one and only chance to see evidence of another intelligence. The data is public. You can look at it for yourself, see the internal structure, and decide what you think it means. But whatever you decide, remember this. We are living through a moment that people will study for centuries. The moment humanity might have detected its first piece of alien technology. The moment everything changed, and it's happening right now. This story is far from over. 3II. Atlas still has secrets to reveal, and I'll be here to share what we find. Thanks for watching. If you want to follow this incredible journey to the end, make sure you subscribe.